Hi guys, welcome to SADA AGEY. It's a passion of everything. If you do not subscribe to my channel, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to get the latest updates. So now go to the decision making statements in C. Decision making plays a good role in C language. So now going to the decision making concept. Decision making structures require that the programmer specifies one or more conditions to be evaluated or tested by the program. Only with a statement or statements to be executed if the condition is determined to be true, and optionally other statements to be executed if the condition is determined to be false. Statement. If statement. Description. An if statement consists of a Boolean expression followed by one or more statements. If or if else statement. An if else statement can be followed by an optional else statement which executes when the Boolean expression is false. Nested if statements. You can have or one if or if else statement inside another if or if else statements. Switch statement. A switch statement allows a variable to be tested for equality against a list of values. Nested switch statements. You can use one switch statement inside another switch statements. So now going to the if statement. An if statement consists of a Boolean expression followed by one or more statements. If the Boolean expression evaluates to true, then the block of code inside the if statement will be executed. If the Boolean expression executes to false, then the first set of code after the end of the if statement, means after the closing curly brace will be executed. C programming language assumes any non-zero and none values as true, and if it is either 0 or null, then it is be assumed as false value. This is syntax of if condition. If Boolean expression statements will execute if the Boolean expression is true. This is the logical diagram of C. Logical diagram of if. This is the sample program of if else statement in decision making of C language. If else statement. An if statement can be followed by an optional else statement which executes when the Boolean expression is false. If the Boolean expression evaluates to true, then the if block will be executed. Otherwise, the else block will be executed. C programming language assumes any non-zero and null values are true, and if it is either 0 or null, then it is assumed as false value. This is about the if else statement. This is the syntax of if else statement. If Boolean expression in braces, curly braces, in else statement also presented in if else statements of decision making in C. This is a sample program of if else statement in C. If or if else statement. If else statement. An if else statement can be followed by an optional else statement, which is very useful to test various conditions using single else if statement. When using else statements, there are few points to keep in mind. And if can have 0 or 1 else, and it must come after any else if. And if can have 0 to many else if, and they must come before the else. Once an else is succeeds, none of the remaining else ifs or else will be tested. Somewhat these if else statement are confused, but this plays a main role, means this decision making statements plays a main role in C language. So listen carefully and follow the steps, follow the logical and diagrammal diagrams of this if else, switch, etc. This is the sample program of if else statement in C. Nested if statements. It is always legal in C programming to nest if else statements, which means you can use one if or else if statement inside another if or else if statements. This is the syntax of nested if statements. The if Boolean expression in curly braces C programming, in if another if is presented, if Boolean expression 2. This is a sample program of switch statement. Now going to the switch statement. A switch statement allows a variable to be tested for equality against a list of values. Each value is called a case, and the variable being switched on is checked for each switch case. This is the syntax of switch statement. Switch expression in braces case, number of cases are written, and last default statement is written. So this is the syntax of switch statement. The following rules apply to the switch statement. The expression used in a switch statement must have an integral or enumerated type, or be of a class type in which the class has a single conversion function to an integral or enumerated type. This is the first rule. And going to second rule, you can have any number of case statements within a switch. Each case is followed by a value to be compared to and a colon. The constant expression for a case must be a same data type as the variable in the switch, and it must be a constant or a integral. When the variable being switched on is equal to the case, the statements following that case will execute until a break statement is reached. When a break statement is reached, the switch terminates and the flow of control jumps to the next line following the switch statement. Not every case needs to contain a break. If no break appears, the flow of control will fall through to subsequent cases until a break is reached. A switch statement can have an optional default case which must appear at the end of the switch. The default case can be used for performing a task when none of the cases is true. No break is needed in the default case. These are some of the rules that should be applied in the switch statement. This is the functional diagram of switch statement. This is the example program of switch statement. Nested switch statements. We have if and if else or nested ifs. In that also, switch concepts also, we have nested switch statements. Going to that, it is possible to have a switch as a part of the statement sequence of a outer switch. Even if the case constant of the inner or outer switch contain common values, no conflicts will arise. Syntax. The syntax for a nested switch statement is as follows. The switch statement is different from nested switch. Switch case A, case in that we have different cases, and in outside we have break statement. See, this is the syntax of nested switch statements. This is the sample program of nested switch statements.